Welcome to the April 11th Eclipse OpenJ9 community call. If you can add your name and affiliation to the list of attendees so we know who's been regularly attending or even just who's been joining in.
Just a small correction there, Dan. It's the 18th, and maybe the minutes.
Thank you. So. I was going to say, even as I'm saying it, it sounded wrong. Thank you, Keith. I had the file name correct. All right. So we've got the usual agenda. If there's something you'd like to add, chime in. We don't have a lightning talk this week. If you'd like to give one, reach out to me. We'll get something scheduled. And so we'll take a quick look at the recent end user issues. Looks like we've had a couple of crashes come in. But that there's some conversation happening in those at least, so that's good. Has anyone had a chance to take a look at the e-poll issue? All right, doesn't sound like it. And Pete, have you heard anything more from the, I won't even try and pronounce the name there, but the reporting of vulnerability?
No, I think we should just put the question label on that and close it.
Yeah, happy to do that. If there's an issue, we should.
Well, there are ways to report it.
Yep.
I assume they will report it when they're ready, or maybe it's already been reported maybe it's one of the crash issues in open source. I don't know.
All right. Was there anything else in that list of end user issues that we needed to discuss or focus on?
What was the e-poll one? Do we need to do something with that one? Was it assigned to a milestone?
It's been assigned to 040.
Okay, so hopefully somebody will get to it at some point.
All right. That brings us to the direction roadmap section for 038. When I open this up, it looks like we're in a pretty good state. Free type was the only thing open here. Are we up to date with the version of free type that we're shipping?
Yeah, strangely enough, there was a vulnerability reported yesterday. So we quickly patched the free type that we have. So really all this is we've backported free type from JDK 11 to JDK 8. So if OpenJDK happens to update free type today for JDK 11, we need to backport that change. So it's just a reminder to check that. It seems unlikely that OpenJDK is going to update free type today.
Okay.
So yeah, we're ready. We're just waiting for OpenJDK to release later today, and then we can start some builds.
Excellent. Good to hear that we're in such a good spot for 38. So for Java 19, see, this has been updated since I looked at it this morning. The milestone is closed, I see.
Yep. So we released, OpenJ9 has released 037. There's some known issues. Maybe if we'd waited a little bit longer, we could have had fixes for some of those, but the release is done now.
All right. I will point out we've released, but we immediately put the thing out of support, right? So just for anybody who listens to this later on, when it's posted on YouTube, that do not use the Java 19 builds from OpenJ9 in production. They are no longer secure, and there's a list of known issues.
Well, there should be some security vulnerabilities being announced today. since we don't know what they are, we're not sure if they're going to affect 19, but likely something will.
Yes. All right. Do you have an idea of when the summary builds will be made available?
Nope. I think we're going to be able to build everything but Windows soon. And then Windows, I'm not sure how long that will take.
All right. Well, it's good to hear that we're getting something out the door there. With the Project Loom piece under here, is there any value in keeping this set of information? Or at this point, is this far enough out of date that I think we can just remove it, correct? Not hearing any objections, so I will remove that. The Panama work. Looks like there may be some more details in here that are useful. So I think we can remove the JDK 19 pieces of this and shift this under JDK 20.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things going on for 20 that should be resolved soon, in a week or two. And then we'll be looking at 21.
So we're down to 13 items in this plan.
That's interesting because it was 15 not too long ago. I wonder what got moved out or closed. Anyways, yeah, I don't think we're that far away from being able to release 2001.
Hey, Peter. Yeah, so I moved out the top level JEP item for Loom. Because at this point, it's just bug fixes that are going in to the 0.1 release. And then I moved out the hidden frames one as well, as that we don't need that one for, it's not like essential. So that one is also moved to the 0.2 release.
Sounds good.
I see Pinalot has moved forward as well. I'm looking at which of these I recognize that have moved forward from the 19 plan.
So I think the only issue we have with Pinalot now is with compressed refs. I think everything else got fixed. Some of it wasn't fixed for 19 release, but there were 2 changes that went in since.
Okay. Do we have a sense of it? Sorry, go ahead.
I thought Pinalot was still on the list. Is it gone now?
It's still there. It's in the
okay,
last item in the list.
That's what you meant by being moved forward?
Yeah, things that have been moved forward from 19.
I think it's just the compressed ref slowness.
Okay. Excellent.
So there seems to be some problems on Z-Linux. Besides FFI, there's some security tests that are failing, and they seem like they're only failing on Z-Linux. And one of them I was just testing, and it passes with accent and fails otherwise every single time. So there's those things we have to investigate. There's a crash. There's a test that's intentionally causing an OOM, and we crash fairly frequently when running that test. So we should figure that out. I don't. There's the FFI work, and there's a piece missing on AIX, which hopefully in the next couple of weeks will be done. I don't think we're that far away from being able to ship 2001. I think we should look at branching maybe next week or the week after as we finalize 2001.
You mentioned AIX, Pete. Is there any news on I think it's the HarfBuzz things that don't compile?
That's for 21.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Although I think the issue that we have in 21 is going to be backported to 20 in 2002.
Yeah.
So we'll have to decide whether to not accept HarfBuzz 701 and stick with the level that we have that compiles, where we've already fixed the known CVE, or maybe we can get a fix for the AX compilation issue.
I thought somebody was looking into that, but if not, I can take a stab at it. If
It wouldn't hurt, or we could check with Tyler again. So the last I heard, Tyler had looked at it, didn't have a solution, was trying to engage the compiler team to help.
Mhm.
So I don't know where that's gotten to.
Pete, when you mentioned the branch either next week or the week after, do you have a rough timeline for the M1, M2, and an actual release in mind as well then?
Well, the M1 could occur as soon as we branch. It's normally what we do.
Yeah.
And then the M2 should occur when we've fixed the issues in the milestone plan. So at that point, it doesn't really matter whether we call it, or if we fix the issues, so they're going to be M2 or RC1. Could call it whatever we like. And if we don't find any new issues when we do that, we could declare a GA.
Okay. Historically, I thought we had picked about a 2-week period after the M1 to try to do the M2, but I'm fine with just working towards closing out that issues in the milestone plan. That works. All right.
We do have ongoing testing, nightly and weekly testing as well. So we'd like M2 to be at the point where we think we're pretty much done. And the only thing going in are very low risk changes, or changes that aren't going to break anything, so that we know we're in good shape to GA.
Okay. And then the other item we have coming up, of course, is a little further out. It's 040. It'll be the update release in July. Do we, with where we're at with 20, do we expect that 20 is going to go out in its own release, or that will pick it up as part of the July release?
I was thinking we could have a 2001 in May if things go well, and then 040 would include 2002. So the 2001 release in May is like, we were late on 19, but now we've caught up and we're able to get a 20 out the door.
Okay. With 19, one of the things that we had not made any progress on was the structured concurrency. Has anyone had a chance to start looking into that for 21? I know it's a little ways out still, but the original estimate on that was 2 months of work. So
no, the focus has been on just getting the core virtual threads work complete. So we haven't really had a chance to make any progress there.
Yeah, it's still an incubator in 20. So we've moved it forward though to probably 2002.
Yeah, so it looks like scoped values is going to be preview in 21. It's unclear what structure concurrency is going to be. So we know we're going to have to work on scoped values. We may or may not need to do anything for structure concurrency.
I thought scoped values was mostly language level changes.
There are some hooks into the JVM that were added for this JEP. We have a basic, implementation for the natives needed. I'm not sure if anyone actually spent time looking into what the required functionality from the JVM was for that JEP.
Right. And I'm putting that in the wrong spot. Should be under JDK 21. Yeah, the challenge being with all these things that the timelines come fast. So the sooner we get somebody looking at these things, the better. Right. Is there anything else we wanted to touch on for the release schedule? Okay. I guess we'll jump to the general update from Adopt. Do we have anybody to give that? All right. Then, Adam, are you on the call for an infrastructure update? I guess no, Adam. So
The only thing I can think of right now is Windows machines. We have some older Windows 2012 machines that are going out of support at some point, and we were hoping to retire them. We've got some newer Windows 2019 machines, but if we just use the 2019 machines, it takes a long time to get through nightly builds. Every other platform will be done, and Windows will still be testing, and that's without a full load like I turned off Java 19 testing last week. And Windows still wasn't done this morning, just using the 2019 machines. So I'm not sure what we're going to do if we can. I mean, we can keep using the 2012 machines for now, but they are going to have to go away. So maybe we can get more 2019 machines to replace.
are the 2019 machines underpowered, or is this a compiles have gotten longer, or what's?
They did seem to be
changed?
underpowered. Adam was saying yesterday that he took a look and he didn't think they were as slow anymore, but the fact that we couldn't get through the testing overnight at the same time as all the other platforms indicates that they may still be underpowered.
Can the 2012 machines not just get upgraded instead of disappearing?
I think it's a problem with money that we're paying for all these machines, and so now we've got many more machines than we were supposed to be paying for.
Well, that's not enough.
But if the new machines aren't as performant and can't handle the load, that seems like we need more. So anyways, we'll keep tossing that back and forth and try to come up with a solution.
All right. I guess that brings us to the JIT servers section. I don't see Marius on the call, so probably skip over that. Similarly for MicroJIT. Toby, is there an update on the CRIU support?
Yeah, so I don't think there's anything much to there are a few fixes last week that went in to address some issues that Liberty were seeing. So there was a hang that was addressed. There was some issue with SEC loading non-portable code on the checkpoint run that was addressed. And then we previously turned on the debug interpreter for CRIU during a checkpoint run. We've disabled that and just turned on the hooks instead, and we see that there's no performance difference with that approach. So address some of the concerns on restore time as well. So those were the last three things that went in. And I think at this point, it's just we're finalizing documentation.
Sorry, did you enable the hooks in the normal interpreter for all builds at this point then?
Yeah.
And there was no startup cost to that?
Yep. Yeah, we did a full suite of testing, the day trader tests with CRU, without CRU, and there was no noticeable change there. The most expensive thing in the debug interpreter is the VM struct update.
Okay. All right. Do we have an update on the Apple Silicon work? Don't see Daryl either, so I'm going to assume we don't. All right. The AOB item was from last week still. That was the discussion around disabling dynamically attached agents, and it looks like there's some efforts going on there. Is there anything else we wanted to touch on for that item?
I think it is getting some action.
Yeah, it seems to be progressing. So, is there any other business that we want to touch on today? All right, then. Thank you, everybody. We'll call this here, and we'll have the next one of these calls April 25th.
Thank you.